Welcome to Empirical Peapod. I'm your host, Tim Day. Thank you so much for continuing this journey with me, where I get to sit and talk to all my favorite people. You guys remember the drill. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe. Let's get into today's episode.
I think even this chair is going to appear and be like,
You have to be still.
is he sitting in a recliner? Just sitting out here on the front porch.
You heard a wooden
Did you have a
rocking
mint
chair.
julep while you recorded?
Oh, this is going to be a shit show.
Why? You said that live with Jason, didn't you?
I just said it live right now.
Cool.
Nice work, asshole.
You were supposed to say,
Count it down.
Guys.
We say 5, 4.
you're nodding.
You didn't say 2 or 1.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. So here, today, we're talking to Sara and Mike
Hello.
Hello.
Walsh.
Yep.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, now. Exactly. Where do we start? Does it bother you that you guys are known as an entity at this point? Or do you kind of find it
It
endearing?
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but what do you think about it?
I don't know that I have an opinion about it.
Jesus Christ, it's been like 100 years. You've never thought about it?
Not really.
Maybe because you're used to like being Tim's sister, and then you just kind of fell right into now I'm Mike's wife.
Yeah, goddamn, I've never been able to be my own
Who
person.
the fuck is Sara?
No, now you're Mrs. Walsh.
Ugh.
No, Mrs. Walsh is your mother.
Your mother.
Really, all of our mothers.
Yeah.
When we think about it,
Sure.
I've stayed there a bunch.
So,
Mrs. Walsh
yeah,
takes care of
she is the
everybody.
mother of everyone, whether
Yeah.
she wants to be or not.
So, where do we want to start? Actually, Mike, have you been in Oswego your whole life?
Yeah, well, technically I grew up in Montgomery in Boulder Hill, but
So you guys started in Boulder Hill, right?
yep.
Some of us will remember this. This is. I like this episode because I've already talked to Dan, so we have at least part of your story,
Yep.
and I exist, so I already know most of her story. But where did you guys start in Boulder Hill?
On South Barrowman, which was like a half a block away from Boulder Hill Elementary, so I got to walk to school every day for elementary school.
Really?
It was real close.
That is really close. You made it all through elementary school there?
Yep.
Did you go to? Because you went to Thompson, right?
Yes.
So did you stay in Boulder Hill through junior high?
No. We moved to
He
Arbor.
stayed at Thompson, though.
Yeah. And you moved right next to Trauber?
We moved to Arbor Gate, which was basically going from our house in Boulder Hill past Thompson,
Right.
past Trauber,
Yeah.
and then you're in Arbor Gate.
Is that Arbor Gate? Isn't part of that Lakeview, or they just connected somewhere?
Yeah, they're right next to each other. And
Okay,
there's
they
like,
build
oh,
into each other for sure.
yeah. And no, Arbor Gate, for some reason, the way the district was laid out and everything, it was, oh no, Arbor Gate goes to Thompson, Seasons Ridge, way the fuck on the other side of Montgomery,
Went to Trauber?
goes to Trauber.
Wait,
Yes.
that's funnily said, because now I remember people from Seasoners being in Trauber, and I'm like, that is literally on the other side of town. What a stupid setup.
And it was funny because going from 5th grade into junior high, I had friends going to Thompson, I had friends going to Trauber.
Yeah.
And it was, okay, I'm going to be moving, so I don't know which school I'm going to yet.
Yeah.
So I'll see one of you guys. Oh, we're moving over here. So I'll see you guys at Trauber. No, honey, you're going to Thompson.
Do you remember dealing with that though? Basically the split of having established your friends for years and then kind of like, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. It was... That's really when I started to see like the cliques and groups starting
Yeah.
to form in school, and it was, I wanted none of it.
Was there a bus that took you past Thompson Trauber to go to Thompson?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so dumb.
Also, this is my show, so let's take that. Let's nip that in the bud.
I got news for you. I'm a bulldozer.
But
I got news for you. I didn't take the bus that often because my dad had to work shortly after school started, so he dropped me off on the way every morning.
Oh, one of those rich kids that got a parent drop off, huh?
Yeah.
One of those richers.
It's nice that even though there's two of you, you're both spoiled brats. The brothers Walsh. But did you? So then you went to Oswego High School. But you said there was the initial like kind of losing friends and then seeing everybody click off. Did you really consciously back then be like, I don't want to be part of a group?
It wasn't so much like I didn't want to be part of a group. Like I still kept like a couple friends, and then that group grew from people he knew and everything.
Some things just happen naturally, right?
But like I definitely, the Walshes notoriously were very sports orientated people. And I was probably the least athletic of all the male cousins.
I was going to say, you must be talking about extended family because the brothers Walsh I know.
We did sports. We were okay.
Did you guys sports ball?
Yeah, we sports ball.
All right. Well, that brings us up to high school at least.
Mm-hmm.
Did you so once you got back into high school or went to high school, was it a reunion at least, or had everybody changed enough for it just like whatever?
It was a reunion with some, and some were just like, "Oh, you went full jock, and you're leaning into it heavily." Yeah. Okay.
It's crazy what we decide is going to be our personality when we don't want to develop a personality. On the flip side, then, this is so stupid because I know the answer. Where did your life start?
On a cold Friday morning in December.
She's been practicing that all fucking day.
Well, obviously we started in Glendale Heights.
Yeah, pretend you're talking to them, not me, because I know it's weird because I know the story.
Okay, well, I lived in Glendale Heights up until halfway through kindergarten.
Yeah.
We moved halfway through to Naperville.
Were you really only in kindergarten?
Yeah.
What grade was I in?
Second, third.
Third, I think, yeah. You said halfway, right?
Maybe we should do your episode.
Nah. I don't like to remember my own life.
Yeah, halfway through kindergarten, left Glendale Heights, went to Naperville for the other half of kindergarten through second grade.
See, we were only there for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, and then...
Do you remember why they wanted to leave? Like, what was the rationale for bouncing around? Do you remember? We were still
what I remember and what I've heard is, quote, the neighborhood started to get bad in Glendale Heights.
Yeah, which makes me laugh because it's so gentrified and nice now.
Yeah, we went by the old house not that long ago, Mom and I, and it's fine.
Yeah, like Stratford Square, that area.
Although that
is so
convenience
nice.
store right at the corner there is still the convenience store.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Just the generic convenience store.
I wonder if the 7-Eleven's still there too.
So yeah, so we went from the ghetto to bougie Naperville, didn't fit in there, and had a house built in Oswego.
Well, to be fair, we went to unincorporated Naperville.
Yeah, I know, but you say Naperville, you think bougie.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to be. We were on the other side of the fences of the bougie part.
Yeah.
Fun fact about that. It was only a few houses down from where my uncle was.
Which house?
The one that was like right on the corner of the curve.
Really?
Yeah.
So we had our
Naperville
house,
was.
and then a guy named Ken maybe.
I used to cut his grass.
And then the family that had the two boys, one was Brian that I played with. Apparently he also played with them. And the next house was his aunt and uncle's.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's kind of pretty. That's pretty serendipitous. That's cool.
I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
I don't know. It blew my mind the first time we went to a holiday party at their house because I'm like, I used to live literally right there.
Yeah.
So weird.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm sorry. I'm going to interject with another fun fact.
Great.
Because at my Behrman house, right across the street, was some family that, like, I think one of your parents knew. The Craigs?
The Craigs.
Really?
Yep.
So
Like
all
Christina?
throughout our lives.
They're not like blood family, but we grew up together.
I consider
With-
Christina my cousin.
Right, for sure, yeah.
Dan took her to homecoming or turnabout.
Ah, that's so stupid.
There's, after spending 21 years together, there's a lot of little moments over the years where it's like, yeah, we would have met each other
That's
at
what I'm
some point or
curious too.
another.
Is like, because we'll get to how you guys met, but like, when you start putting all that shit together, it's kind of like, oh, this was inevitable in
Our
general.
Well,
paths could have crossed at
It
so
just might have
many
been,
points.
different level or different spots in life.
Oh, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So you said we were in Naperville for a couple of years, and then we built a house.
We built a house in Oswego and went to school from Oswego, or in Oswego from 3rd grade until I graduated.
Do you remember? Because we've never talked about it. Do you remember though, like kind of being ripped out of those places after like we were still pretty young in Glendale Heights. But do you remember like having to leave those people and then building again in a short amount of time and then getting pulled again in a relatively short amount of time? Do you remember that affecting you at all?
Not really, just because I'm a social butterfly. I was so young when we left Glendale Heights that whatever. And then we were only in Naperville for 2.5 years, so I didn't really have a lot of time to try to get close with anyone.
Yeah. Plus, we lived, like, not for nothing, like we said, we lived in unincorporated
Yeah.
on the opposite side of the fences. There wasn't a lot of people for us to be friends
No,
with.
we had, Tamarack and White Eagle.
Yeah.
And, talk about mansions.
Yeah.
It was so uncomfortable going to those friends' houses, but some of them lived like such slobs.
That's true.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
It was quite eye-opening, because, like, not for nothing, our house was huge.
Yeah.
But it was,
But
like...
I wouldn't say a mansion by any means.
No, but it was an older house. It was on an awesome, huge lot
Yeah.
also. And it had its own issues. I prefer a built-up neighborhood also.
Yeah.
Given the option. But yeah, so now we get to Oswego, and you went to Eastview. Mm-hmm. You went to Trauber, though, for sure.
I went to Eastview, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Trauber.
But we never crossed paths in Trauber, because I think...
No, not till high
just
school.
barely, right? Because we're not actually Irish twins, like I claim.
No, we're not. We're different years.
Yes. Well, I think Irish twins is up to, I think...
Nope.
Okay. Well...
It's within a year, within 9 months, something like
I'm gonna
that.
consider our brother Jason my
Also,
Irish
we're
twin.
not Catholic, so and do we really want to claim being Irish?
But we're not Catholic.
We're definitely not Catholic.
I stand by what I said.
Sure.
So we get to high school. You're actually older than Mike, also, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Just 1 year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 months and 5 days.
Well, so you guys are Irish twins.
No,
I think so.
different moms.
Oh, right. Now
Yeah.
do it. What did you do anything specific in high school? Like, did you have like a plan or an idea of what you wanted to do, or where you were gonna go? Or you're just like, let's just get through this bullshit.
So early on, it was. Do you remember taking like all those tests, and they're like, you should do this?
Yeah, CVS and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I remember like one path it told me to go down was snowboard engineering, and I was like, wait, because one of the questions was I like snowboarding, and so you want me to design them? Yeah, that doesn't sound like a job.
Yeah.
And for a lot of my childhood, like I wanted to fly fighter jets. I saw Top Gun at a young age. I was like, I want to pull high G's and fly around real fast. That sounds awesome. And then early high school, brain started going, and it's like, wait a minute. That means I'm shooting people and dropping bombs on people. I don't want to do that part of it.
Yeah. You should be a stuntman in movies.
Like test pilot would have been great, but getting there, I would have had to have dropped a bomb on someone, and I didn't want to do that. So
it sounds dangerous also because there's a condition that plagues the Walsh, where they're basically a walking.
I mean, I'm not saying if I went down that path, there's another world out there where there's a Mike who did that and definitely ruined billions of dollars worth of Air Force equipment.
Yeah. I like to think though that version of Mike Walsh, every time he would destroy something, everybody's just like, Mike.
No, they would go to the black box and be like, and the last recording is, whoops.
That reminds me of your brother so much. When he'll just say, the last thing you hear before calamity hits is, oh, or, oh no. Did you have any idea what you wanted to do in high school? Or, like a plan or at least like a vision to the future past high school while you were there?
Oh, I wanted to be a nurse or a fashion designer.
Really, even while you were in high school, you're
Yeah,
like,
I took
okay,
a lot
this
of
is
fashion design classes, sewing classes, etc.
Do they offer that
in high school? Yeah, fashion merchandising and
That's awesome.
I mean basic sewing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did,
Which is wild because now I feel like I should have taken like culinary classes, and I did not take a single foods class in high school.
yeah. Well, I think it's not weird to wake up and be 40 and just start to be like, maybe I should do this.
Hey, you know what? I'm not 40 yet. Let's not push it.
Well, I was trying to make myself feel better.
Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it is your show, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not forget whose name's in the title.
Sure.
What about you, Mike? Did you go? You went to college after high school, right?
A little bit. I graduated early in December, and immediately.
In December? Is that possible?
No, January.
Because I graduated early in January.
Yeah.
Then you come back for that 1 week.
Right.
Yeah, I graduated after the first semester senior
Yeah.
year.
Yes.
And immediately did a semester at Wabanzi. I think I even did a summer class at Wabanzi, and then was starting at NIU as a freshman.
Yeah.
And
But you guys were already dating by then.
yes,
Oh, did you go to college right after high school?
I can't remember if it was right after, but I did go to COD. Yeah.
For a little
I went
bit?
to COD for at least a semester, maybe a year.
Was he still in high school when you guys met? Were you still in high school?
Yes,
yeah,
I was.
We
Holy
met, we
Christ.
met
So-
in high school.
Yeah. So you should have asked me.
Yeah.
I also graduated in January because I needed the 2 quarters, they're called, semester worth of gym classes. And that's where I met Mike. October, ending first quarter,
That would have
October
been a year
gym
before
class.
his graduation.
Yes. That was in 03.
You guys met in 03 in gym class?
Yep.
Yep. At the
How?
bowl.
Like, how?
I thought he was cute. So I started asking anyone if they knew who he was. And lucky for me, Megan did. And warned me about how nerdy he was, but I didn't care because I thought he was cute.
So
He had a charming smile, beautiful eyes, and
Tell,
cripplingly shy.
so tell me about nerdy, though. Like, we know now,
Oh, I had no idea at the
but
time.
20 years ago, what
so
does
20
that look
years
like?
ago, I'm pretty
I
sure
know the
Megan,
attic's full of magic cards and Warhammer.
I'm pretty sure Megan
it's
was
definitely in the
referring.
closet next to you.
I'm pretty sure Meg was referring to their obsession with Lord of the Rings at the time.
It's probably, yeah, tip of the iceberg.
For sure, bro. Yeah, for sure. I had no idea what I was in store for.
Oh yeah, at that point in high school, it was
03?
full playing Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40K, and I mean, that might be after my EverQuest days. I put a few years into that early on, and
You ever missed any of that? Because I feel like since I've known you, I've never seen you play Magic or Warhammer. I know they're big things that like can take chunks of your life away.
He still has stuff.
I know you still have the stuff, but like, do you miss playing it, or do you think you'd ever go back to it?
so probably a couple of years ago, I looked into 40K again.
I mean,
Because-
Magic has grown so much since then.
Oh, Magic!
Like, that's a
there's
tough one to plug back into.
Very much so, and to the point where it's like, oh, I still have the cards and have my deck that I could go play a tournament in.
But it's a living card game, so it's grown over the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, that and almost all of my cards probably are not tournament legal because they're
Yeah.
so old. They're like, oh no, you can't use that. It's
A
like,
lot of it's probably OP, and the rules have changed.
no, underpowered.
Oh, yeah,
mostly.
that's
like,
true. That makes more
they
sense.
have silly things for low cost now, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's not fair. But
I can
when
hear people turning the channel right now. Like, this is a really cool episode about Magic the Gathering.
So let's push it further. Warhammer 40K.
Yes.
I looked into that again recently and was like, okay, when I did it, the rule book was a thick, thick book.
Yeah.
And then every race that you could be, like Space Marines or Eldar, all had their own separate little book, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
And the rules are a bit different now. When we played, it was a bunch of teenagers getting together, and I've got this stuff. Okay, let's have it all fight each other.
Where would you guys do that though? Because like I've seen the elaborate things in the comic book shops. A lot of them and game stores will have these big, expansive places for battles to happen.
We did that once.
Yeah.
My friend Jeremy found a game store that was like, oh yeah, on Sunday afternoons you can bring your stuff and play Warhammer. So we did that, but every other time was at our friend Colin's house because his mom, not sure what she did. She had a lot of time and was very crafty and very good at it.
Yeah.
And took like that pink foam board, got a 4x8 sheet of it, cut it in half, put felt on it, made trees, made rocks. And
it's crazy. Like, and I've watched people do it online too. And I'm like, it looks so simple.
yeah.
But then when you try to do it, and you're like, this is impossible.
This is before the internet was, oh, I can get a YouTube video on how to do anything I want. She would watch the HGTV videos, and she spent her time making her son and his friends friggin' terrain for their little man-mans to fight each other.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there rolling like 30 D6 at once.
Not for nothing, like, it's one of those things where you're like, I don't know if these kids are okay. But at the same time, you're like, they're also not out doing drugs and getting into trouble. They're playing arming in the basement. Which is pretty much what we still do today.
Which is also kind of ironic because that's around the first time I smoked marijuana and found out that Warhammer was way more interesting. Like, no. Trust me, this guy is pissed off and you just start making a story for it. Yeah. It's like, we're just do the measurements and roll dice. Like, no, it gets better.
As you know, my favorite part is always backstory. Mm-hmm. Well, how old were you when you first started smoking pot?
Oh, let's see. I would say 14, 15, somewhere in there. Because it was at a Thanksgiving, and my brother and my cousin were like, oh yeah, we're going to go rent a movie at Blockbuster.
That's old-fashioned.
I'll come with.
Is that code for cruise?
It was not. We literally went to a Blockbuster video and rented American Pie. So whenever that movie was first released...
1999, yeah.
Yeah, so around then.
Jesus.
I'd say I was 16. That's when I got my driver's license. Jesus Christ, Mike. Come on. And Dan, God damn it. So you guys meet then in gym class. How does that facilitate itself? You didn't necessarily meet in gym class. You saw him in gym class.
We met because it was bowling gym class.
Okay.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday we went bowling. Or Tuesday, Thursday we went bowling. Monday, Wednesday, Friday gym class.
Yeah.
So when we were at the bowling alley, I would steal his sweaters.
Have you been introduced to him yet, or did you just take his sweater?
I mean, we talked just like you talk to people in class.
His head, yes.
We talked a little like you talk to people you have classes with, like, oh, hey, I know you. We have this
so
class
cordial
together.
at
What's
least.
up?
Yeah.
He was on a bowling team with Googs.
Ah, yes.
And I was friends with him.
Yeah.
So that kind of was like, there you go.
You know how in high school everyone would compare their schedules and be like, oh, I've got all my friends in this class and these friends in this classes. I never had friends in classes. It was always be like, I guess I'll see all of you in the 5 minutes between classes. So, brothers, friends, younger brothers, same age as me, okay, I guess we'll be on a bowling team together.
He's at least hilarious.
Yeah, he's a great guy from all of my interactions with him, but it was never like, oh, out of school, I'll give him a call and we'll go hang out. It was just
and I hung out with him at the skate park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, the skate
And
park.
Amber,
How did you end up at the skate park?
I had a friend who was a BMX queen, we could say, because I thought she was awesome because she was a girl who did BMX because her dad did BMX and her brother did BMX. So we'd always just go hang out at the skate park.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So how does meeting in gym class and kind of stealing hoodies?
Sweaters.
Not hoodies. Mike was wearing sweaters at that
Yes.
point because he was a classy kid.
Yeah, it sounds
Sure.
like it. How does that develop into a relationship, and what does that timeline look like?
Well, I asked, or
I know my sister's not one to beat around the bush or wait.
I found out my friend Sara had a class with his friend Jeremy, and through that grapevine, I may have gotten his number.
Man, I do not miss high school at all. Christ's sake.
So then I called him from my friend's parents' landline.
You guys remember landlines?
Yeah, right?
Jeez.
So I called him to see if he wanted to hang out. And I was shut down.
Oh, that time.
Yeah, tell us, why did you say no?
So,
Dickhead.
Mike's perspective on this is these are the days of there's no internet gaming.
Right.
You want to get multiple people together to.
LAN party.
What
We
does
got a
LAN
land.
stand for?
Ooh, God.
Oh, all right. Never
Yeah,
mind.
just
Something
embarrass
network.
us live here. So
It's got to be something analog network because it's, I don't know. I'm not going to
Live.
pretend. You think, but
Live
we're
analog
just sounding
network.
stupid now.
But so I forget who
Local.
it was, but
Local analog network?
Local area network.
Oh, it's even simpler than we made it.
yeah. But I forget who it was, but like someone got a bunch of us together and like their brother got some people together. We had like 14 people with 4 Xboxes all hooked up together. It was one
That
of
was the old Halo LAN party.
that was the old Halo
Man,
LAN party.
yeah, how do you pass that up?
And now keep in mind
I didn't know this.
I'm there, I'm playing,
Yeah.
and my phone rings. I'm like, okay, I don't know this number.
What's the time, the match times on those back then? Probably 5 minutes? 5-10 minutes?
Oh, it would go longer because we
longer
would
back then?
do like capture the flag first to 3.
Oh, yeah, that'll take a while.
That'll take a while because it's like I almost got back. Oh, ran over with a Jeep and they
Yeah.
took our
So
flag.
the fact that you even answer the phone is crazy.
And she wants to hang out.
I love this
Mike
idea that she's like, hey man, like, you know, we're talking, meeting, and, you know, whatever, lightly flirting. Maybe we should do something. And you're just like, nah.
I don't know. Look at him. I don't know if he knew I was flirting.
He did not.
She'd call you on the phone, you dickhead.
Yeah.
Okay, but in bowling, what class did you have before bowling?
Bowling was 4th hour, right? Or 4th block.
Sure.
So 3rd block, it was called building trades,
Ah, yes.
where
Which also fell into lunch hour.
yeah, 3rd block was also lunch hour. So building trades, we would leave the high school,
Yeah.
go to a job site, and we built a house.
Yeah.
Well, we were supposed to go back to the high school and go to lunch for the last half hour.
You guys could just stay out.
Or make sure you're back by 4th hour, go do whatever.
So what did you guys do out there?
Well, I never really hung out with the rest of them. Early on, I made some comment that made them all think I was weird, which a lot of them figured out later on that, like, oh, this makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, all right, it's raining. We can't do stuff we were going to do today. What's everyone going to do? I live close by. I'm going to go home and watch cartoons. That was weird. Like, you're going to go...
Sounds awesome.
No, I knew at that time Scooby-Doo was on, and Mike could smoke a little, go home, watch some Scooby-Doo, and be back for 4th hour gym class where we go to the bowling alley and I can go get a pizza.
Man, I love pizza so much.
Yeah.
It worked out real well. And then some girls just like, hey, I'm going to take your sweater. Great, now I'm chilly.
So after then, you getting to do your LAN party and you turn her down to hang out because you're oblivious and an idiot.
He still is. Not an idiot, but
It's amazing
oblivious.
you even ended up married.
I'm very lucky.
How did you pursue that then after that? Like, that's got to be disheartening.
So the class was ending for the quarter, so that's why I'm like,
So I can
shit,
get this together.
shit, I better call him and see if something will happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't. So, like, what, a week later, it was Halloween?
Something like that.
And that was the very first time we hung out. He was working at PB Shooters, which was an indoor paintball place at the time.
Holy hell.
I was dressed up as an
So long
angel.
ago.
He was dressed up as Death. He made me wait a long time for him.
Now wait, you
to
had
hang
plans
out.
already.
Yeah.
Now you had plans to hang out on Halloween.
But I had a friend who was taking for fucking ever to get her shit together.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
whom?
Some people take a long time.
Well, whatever.
Well, I was hanging out there and she was supposed to come pick me up and wasn't there yet. And I had some friends about to get on the field and play a game. And I was like, I have all my equipment. I can be quick.
You make such
Go,
bad
go, go, go.
decisions, dude. Was I involved in this Halloween?
Kind of.
I think I was dating somebody at the time that you're alluding to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my girlfriend at the time was who you're talking about.
Yes.
Taking forever.
Well, and
That
so
makes
yeah,
sense.
I was. No, it was another friend that was taking forever.
Oh, okay.
Your previous girlfriend is the one who pretty much put us together.
Really?
So she was a little bit bossy in the best possible way. I mean, seriously, in the best possible way, but she knew how to get shit done.
You have to tell me I dated her.
And she was like, she was a few years younger than me.
She's adorable and will tell you what to do.
Yeah, so we're hanging out at the house after, oh no, so we hung out first time Halloween. Mm-hmm. A week later, my mom had a 70th birthday party for my grandma at our house. He came.
For Grandma
Jean.
was 70 back then?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that was the week after Halloween. He came over, family all over the house.
This is still 2003.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He came to the front door. I guess my aunt thought he was there for you, so went and got you.
Right. And I'm like,
And then you're like,
to be fair, that's happened to me at his house, where I've gone to his house, because we hung out in like 04, and your mom was like, Dan's not here. And I'm like, is Mike here?
I guess I'll settle for the other one.
I just need one of these Walsh boys to show me attention.
Whichever one.
So
It's
yeah,
fine.
my aunt brought him to you, and then you brought him to me, and we just kind of hung out. The very first meeting of my family and my dad kissed him on the head.
First time?
Yep.
Ever happened to you before?
Way to make it weird. But anyway, that night after the party, we were sitting in the kitchen, and your ex had kind of been talking to him and pushed him to be like, hey, you should ask her to officially be your girlfriend.
That was the first time you guys hung out.
No, because we hung out on Halloween.
Oh, this is
The week after Halloween
party.
after the party. Yeah. But
Yeah.
a week after the
That's right.
first time hanging out
Grandma's
comes to a
birthday
whole
was
big
in November.
family party.
Yeah. Do
And
you remember
survives.
that? Because like you are notoriously shy and anxious around people. How big of a deal was that? Do you remember that? Like, be like,
Very
this
well.
this is hard.
Yes, and one of the things that one of my coping mechanisms, I guess I'll call it, is like finding something I can just focus on, and I
Yeah.
can usually block out a lot of the ruckus that triggers my anxiety. And it was, I think Denny started talking to me about EverQuest, and I don't even know how we got on the subject.
Yeah.
But I talked to him for like half of that party.
Yeah, but Danny's just a big kid.
Oh, my mom's cousin?
Yeah,
Danny?
yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
And
in
I
general.
think he's in the computer industry.
I think you're right.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. That's true. Now I'm thinking about Danny.
That night, reel it in, stay focused.
Right.
That night, he asked me to officially be his girlfriend, and that was it.
How junior high is your stupid relationship?
Yeah.
You guys hung out at Halloween.
We were 17.
And a week later, you're like, do you want to be my girlfriend?
You know what?
Yeah,
I feel like
basically.
junior high would have been more like, will you be my girlfriend? Circle yes or no.
Oh, you get a
That would've
maybe
been-
also. Yes,
that
no,
would've been
maybe.
way
Because
better.
that was definitely in junior high.
Yeah, I have a lot of notes in boxes still from junior high.
Oh, God, I don't know if I have any.
Why would you?
And we didn't really write notes because we were the part that had cell phones.
You
That's,
guys
I
have
asked.
cell phones?
You
I asked
used to
them
write me
recently.
notes.
I asked them recently. I'm like, did you ever call my landline when I lived with my parents? Because when we started dating in 2003, what was it? Not even a year later, we moved out of the Oswego
I
house
say that was
because our
just a
parents got
year-
divorced.
Yeah, like not even a year. That was probably within 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Of everybody leaving that house. That's crazy to think about then, because then in 2004, like we just said, I think in August, everybody started splitting off.
That sounds about right.
And
I graduated in January, walked in May,
yeah,
and yeah, I think moved out in summer.
I think so.
because Mom went to Wheaton.
Wheaton. Mm-hmm.
Now you went with Mom initially.
Mm-hmm.
Papa moved out to Sandwich, and Jason and Susan moved out to Lake Holiday, and that's where I went
Yeah.
because I was working at Menards at the time.
Right.
But it didn't work out at Mom's because Mom didn't like a boy in
I mean,
the house.
Mom had rules.
Right.
She didn't want her 18.
Well, high school is over now.
Yeah.
For her.
For me.
Were you still in high school?
I graduated in 04. He graduated in 05.
Oh, that's right. So you still had. Wait, well, because in 2004 is when we went to Warp Tour and had the big party at Carrie's farm.
Yeah.
You were still in high school then?
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Oh, you're a bad kid. Man.
I still have the hoodie he got me from that Warp Tour.
Really?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Dropkick Murphys.
Do you remember
Shamrock and Roll.
when I
Yeah.
almost got set on fire?
Yes.
You're one of the few people that was there and actually saw
I
it.
say that day, that happened at the party, and then at Warp Tour, didn't you lose your pants or get your pants completely ripped?
They were ripped from like the bottom
Yeah,
of my ankle all the way up to the ass pocket.
Yeah, I was saying Jason kicked me in the balls so hard, I thought I was gonna throw up everything I ever ate. That's a good time.
I was not there for that. I was hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, but I digress. So we go back to you're out of high school, Mike's finishing up still, but you're trying to maintain a relationship, but you're at a point where you want to be quote unquote adults, even though we're still kids. Real, at least by our old age now, we're still kids.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you kind of do that then? Because Mom does have rules.
Well, she didn't want her teenage daughter playing house with
What
her
does that
boy-
mean? I feel like adults say that all
Spending
the
the
time.
night or being there all hours of the night.
But that's
even.
not playing house. That's building a relationship.
Well, she thought she didn't know it was as serious as it was, and
Even if it wasn't, who cares?
she thought it was just a high school
Just,
thing.
yeah,
And
be a bro once in a while.
well, she would keep him over me now.
Yeah,
But-
over all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she didn't know. She didn't want me to only be invested in a
You
relationship.
guys would do weird shit though, like just sit in the car all night.
We
then.
would, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Those were the Denny's days.
Yeah, that's true.
We used to spend a lot of time at Denny's.
So as we shifted to 04, this is when I met Felice also,
Felice.
and her and I are also night owls,
Uh-huh.
and started because we would run into you assholes at
All the
Denny's
time, yeah.
all the time.
Well, for a long time, that was the only place we could smoke.
That's true. And
Then they got rid of
but
that.
I've always hated smoking.
I know.
But I like an Oreo shake.
Oh, they were so good.
Moon's over my hammy, bro.
But there'd be like 12 of us there
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Did you feel that in the midst of trying to build this relationship, kind of like, not like, woe is us, the world's against us, but like, Jesus Christ, like, why? This is stupid. Like, we don't have anywhere to go, we don't have anything to do. Are we just like, I guess sitting in the car is just cool?
We did a lot of stuff in the car.
It was a lot of,
What do you
we
mean?
can't do that, we can't do that. All right, we're just going to do this. There were a lot of nights of sitting in the car in the little roundabout
Oh
in
yeah, in
front
front of the
of the
apartment. Do you
building
remember that?
I do remember.
till like
that.
5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like,
On school nights, Mike?
This must
Probably
have been when he
not.
graduated.
This might have
I
been
think our
just
timing
after.
might be off a
Well,
little.
he would have graduated in 05?
January of 05, yeah.
so
Yeah.
this might have been when.
Because it was you're right, because
Moved
it would have
on
been the end of 04 is when we all moved out.
Yeah.
Like that, like August or September, around there.
So yeah, there
So
were.
it was only a couple of months.
I
then.
think Warped Tour was 05.
But there were
Really?
multiple times
That's
I'd get
gotta-
back from Wheaton,
It's possible.
be coming in as my mom is waking up to go get a cup of coffee. And I'm getting in for the night, like, hey.
Yeah, but she's a cool mom. She wouldn't yell at him and be like, "Where the fuck were you all night?" and blah, 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 blah.
Well, she knew where I was.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like he was out like horning it up or being weird. He's just sitting in a parking lot being horning it up, being weird,
Yeah, like a gentleman.
Sure.
like a true gentleman.
But yeah, I mean, we'd end up going to Denny's at like 10 o'clock at night, hang out there till like 3. Everybody else would go home, and we would just park and talk and do whatever we did.
Does it annoy you now that you guys go to bed at like 9 o'clock and are so boring?
I love
I
it.
don't do it all the time. I do it when I'm working because I get up at 5.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I don't sleep. In
Oh yeah.
general.
Also, you fall asleep in the middle of a conversation, so I don't want to hear it.
That's true. It's probably because I'm dying at a faster rate, but let's not worry about that right now. What do you think? Like, do you remember a time or a specific incident? Not incident, but like a particular moment where you're like, "Oh, this is a thing now. Like, this isn't just, we're in a relationship and checking it out, but now it's like, oh, this is my person."
That's
now,
why I think
essentially.
our timing was off because I want to say between starting to date and like the Wheaton stuff and 2005, maybe that first year, it was very casual, very group oriented. We probably broke up and got back together a couple times at least, just because it was like, whoa, okay, this is a thing. This
Yeah.
can be something serious.
Did it feel like
But
it
I'm
was
18.
Too,
What the
too
fuck?
much too fast?
Not too much too fast, no. But like, wow, this could be it. But I'm only 18, and everybody's
Yeah.
told me like, hey, don't settle for the first guy you are serious about. Well,
Unless the first guy's awesome.
awesome, yeah. It doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
I had a couple boyfriends before I met Mike that just whatever, didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, they were all awful. That's right.
Whatever.
One looked like a weasel.
That's
like
true.
literally. I'm not saying he was a weasel. He looked like one.
That's true.
The other one just like if you looked at him, you'd be like, I feel like I can smell him from here.
Oh.
The wrestler?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The wrestler. Yeah. What about you, Mike? Do you?
It was a little overwhelming at first because I had crushes on girls and
Yeah.
had girls as friends and everything, but never.
Ooh.
It was a boom.
Those are fire boomers.
Yeah.
But I don't know, never had those strong feelings I had when I was with her.
Yeah.
And trying to deal with that as a hormonal teenager.
Oof.
Good luck.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot to deal with. So when does the epiphany happen where it's like everybody goes through the, maybe we shouldn't, well, maybe we should. When was the point where you're like, you know what, fuck it, like let's just jump in?
I don't know if there was like a specific
Are you guys
moment.
still waiting for that
Well,
point?
no, one specific moment does stick out to me. We were driving down 34. You were in Alex's white car
The Buick Regal.
with Derek and
Oh,
Alex.
If you ever hear this.
And I
that
was
a
in.
wonderful
I must
car.
have been driving my Cavalier with probably Angela and Natalie, whoever else was in my car, Ryan maybe. He leans all the way out of the car across 30. Like we're in the 2 lanes on 34.
Yeah.
He leans all the way out of the car and he shouts, "I love you" to me. Driving down 34, and I'm like, oh, I do love him. That is one major moment where it's just like, okay, yeah.
What do you think about that, Mike?
I remember that night very clearly.
Yeah.
That was dumb. I was halfway out the
Yeah.
window.
I say it's a beautiful, romantic, grand gesture, That almost ended in death?
No,
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I might have over-exaggerated a little.
You guys were trying to tell a story with a little drama. It's fine.
No, I don't like drama.
Not that kind of
I
drama.
want to stay away from the drama.
But yeah, you're still hanging your ass out the window.
Yeah.
You're a weird guy, man.
He's a little bit special.
but yeah, it was the first time I told her I loved her.
Yeah. At that point, how long have you guys been dating?
I don't know.
That's a good
That was
question.
a really long time ago. Maybe a year.
Let's say a year and a half.
And like I said, the first year it was very group oriented.
Yeah.
Because we hung out with a big group of people, like, on the regular.
Yeah. I mean, you still do. Like, every weekend we're here playing board games.
Oh, no, I mean, there was, like, at least a dozen of us all the time. That was when I was hanging out with
that's too many.
Ryan and Sam and Danny and Leah. Natalie, Angela.
Do you still keep in contact with any of your friends?
Not really.
Just kind of natural, or?
Well, yeah, all of them. We've all gotten married, grown up, moved away, had kids. I decided not to have kids, so
There's 2 cats here, though.
I have 2 furry babies, yes, but I never decided to have human kids, so I don't. I've lost a common connection with my friends in that aspect.
Mike, are you still close with your friends from back then?
So I had a shift towards the end of high school of really just kind of leaving a friend group, and that's when I started hanging out more with Derek and Alex and Adam, and there were a few others that were around then, but yeah, I've stuck close to Derek and Alex. Alex is down in Florida now, but
That's true.
I still try to talk to them pretty often.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him at New Year's.
That's true. He's a handsome man. I wonder then where. So this takes us to 05. I know we sidetracked back and caught back up. You said you went to college because didn't you go to Northern for a while?
I went to NIU for a semester.
So where does that fit in as far as when Mom's in Wheaton?
I think that was summer of 05.
And then
Like
so
August.
were you living in Wheaton when he was going to?
Nope, because that was when she pulled the whole, you're not going to play house over here, so I said, okay. So I went to my dad's house.
So you moved out to Sandwich.
Who didn't care what I did, when I did, how I did it.
Yeah.
So I was living in Sandwich, working in Plano and Yorkville, and going.
Do you think it was weird that he went from running almost like a militant "I'll kill you" house to carte blanche and do whatever you want?
No, because a lot of that militant was still there. I just didn't see it at first.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Became a lot more subtle.
Also, I'm pretty sure he was scared. So when I said, "Hey, I want to come live here," he didn't want to rock the boat and lay down any ground rules.
Yeah, I know. I know that it was a unhealthy relationship with him taking advantage as far as using you to take care of him and stuff like that too. Eventually, it turns into that. But then you spent a lot of time at Northern.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
you
was
were in the
working in
dorms,
Plano
right?
and Yorkville,
Yeah.
and every free chance I had, day off, I was out there because he hated his roommate.
Yeah, so when I went, NIU had a policy of freshmen are required to live in the dorms.
Really?
I wanted to make that commute every day from Oswego.
Yeah.
And
It's not that bad of it. I've lived out there forever. It's not that bad.
it's
No.
really
Especially
not.
you got something to listen to. It's actually kind of nice.
But you're required to live in a dorm, and here's your roommate who is some guy you can't stand. Good luck for a year. And got through most of a semester and was like, you know what?
Do you feel like that's what turned you off to the experience? Because you like learning stuff, and you're a smart guy. Cause I feel similar where I would love to learn things, but if the setting's not right, I'm done.
Yeah, it was kind of that. I just kind of shut down and was like, realistically, I should have looking back, I know I should have taken a break and been like, all right, graduated high school in January. Let's just relax up until that semester at NIU, where I was just so burnt out of like, all right, done with high school, getting some college credit done before I go to NIU. Now I'm at NIU. I can't stand this 12 by 12 room I live in with someone, and made a few good friends, hung out with them. She came and picked me up and got me out of there when she could, but yeah, I was just
So at that time,
unhappy.
then, if you didn't hang out in the dorm, you just same thing you did in Wheaton, just cruise around.
More car shit, yeah.
You guys are gonna get that car
Steak
pregnant.
and shake. Yeah, steak and shake, IHOP.
Yeah.
You know, whatever was open, wherever we could
Not
go.
for nothing, back then especially, like, there's a lot of awesome places out there that are 24 hours.
Then,
Yeah, back then, now the town shuts down.
And I think you reached a point of burnout because he came and just stayed in Sandwich for a week or two.
Is that after you'd already decided to leave, or did you just commute from there?
That was, I wasn't even commuting there going to classes. I took 2 weeks and I think that's when I was deciding, like, I'm not going next semester. I'm just.
Do you remember having a
place
plan
isn't for me.
for that? Like, as far as, like, what am I gonna do?
So.
Or you just like, I guess we'll figure it out.
The plan initially going in was gonna be Mike was gonna try and get a doctorate in physics eventually.
Yeah, that was the point of going to college.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And
What were you gonna do with that?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
No,
Not for nothing. Like any degree I would want, same thing. No job for it. Just something I thought was awesome.
like I had the idea of, since the knowledge I had in like wanting to be a fighter pilot, I knew that military technology is very advanced and yet at the same time old compared to what they're doing now.
Yeah.
I wanted to work in like Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works and be like, no, these aren't UFOs, but I can see why you might think it is.
So once you leave school, then that kind of dissolves.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of, all right, what can I pursue outside of that sort of education?
No, I drifted for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Genoa's.
Is that when you started working at Genoa's?
No, that's when I went to Bassetti's and was washing dishes.
Yeah, remember you were talking to Nikki about Bassetti's? He worked there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. That's funny.
We might still have a Bassetti's cup.
I hope that's the
One
last
of the
one.
glasses, yeah.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, so I initially applied for the delivery driver position.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we got this old guy who's going to come in and be a pain in the ass to everyone.
Franco.
No, Franco's
No?
the cook.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Franco. Franco's great.
Yeah, Franco is amazing. He I don't know, but a shorter man, but a sweetheart, and apparently Derek has told me, can smack your ass so hard with his stone hands, it will hurt for a week.
Oh, my.
Oh, Derek.
Because our buddy's dad owned the restaurant, but had worked at a different one, and Derek was friends with him from years back, so knew the dad and Franco from way back, and of course Derek worked across the street at Genoa's.
But Derek was already at Genoa's.
Mm-hmm. And eventually he was like, hey, we need a delivery driver over here. I was like, no more dishes. Hell yeah.
It's crazy to me how many people came through Genoa's also.
Right?
Like, it's way more than you would think. It's an uncomfortable amount. But you did that for a long time. You delivered pizzas.
I did.
And weirdly, your girlfriend at the time would just sit in the car with you while you delivered pizzas.
When I wasn't working.
Sure, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Not like as a part-time employee, but like when you weren't busy and doing stuff. But not for nothing, like that's how you guys, the dynamic that you guys have is literally just quality time.
Boring.
Is your,
We're very boring,
but
and we love our boring existence.
Quality time is your guys' love language.
Yeah.
And you'll fit it in wherever the fuck you can stick it.
Yeah.
And it is boring and annoying.
We
to watch
just
it.
like being together, and like I said, it's not for everyone,
Yeah.
but it works for us.
I know everybody that listens is like, oh, they just like being together. How sweet. I mean, I promise you, it's boring. Do not encourage them.
Doesn't everybody want that just boring contentment?
I think so. I don't know because I don't know what that feels like.
If they don't, they should.
Well,
Yeah, but I think a lot of us have never experienced it in a realistic way, so we can't really speak to it other than it sounds awesome, which is fair enough.
Well, some people want to kill themselves when they're not constantly busy and need constant things to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, usually that's built in with a place of not wanting to sit with their own thoughts. Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. So, but while this is going on, you're working at the salon.
Mm-hmm.
And you only did a little bit of schooling before, but you went back to school eventually.
I did a little bit at COD, and then took
COD, really?
Yeah, and then took some time off.
Is there a reason you went COD and not Wabanzi?
I'm sure there was. I don't remember.
Probably, I'm sure they offer different things, right?
You know what? I think there was a point where I wanted to get more into writing.
Yeah.
I took a lot of writing and English classes at COD, but I was burnt out.
And when you say you took a lot of writing
And I had
classes,
a little taste of independence, so I wanted to ride that as long as I could too.
What kind of writing classes were you taking?
Once upon a time, I wanted to write a book.
About what?
Anything?
Well, like
I still want to write a
like
book.
a fiction book.
No, it would be maybe an autobiography.
Okay. So you didn't take any creative
A
writing.
biography adjacent, maybe.
Ooh. What does that mean?
Based on a true story
Yeah.
with leprechauns.
Yeah, but names and certain things changed or added for dramatic flair, things like that.
So still a fiction story.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I remember your stint of writing, but one of the things that you struggle with that we often do is when we're playing games, your imagination.
Oh,
And I'm
man.
like, how the hell do you lose that when you used
don't-
to want to be a writer, and now you can't write a backstory and you can't have an imagination to when we're doing all these silly games.
I probably could, but it's the same thing with reading. I want to read things like real things. Like I love to read biographies. I love all the Chelsea books. I'm currently reading Becky Lynch's personal book.
Well, the two greatest people in the world are comedians and wrestlers.
Oh,
So,
sure.
No wonder.
But I like reading stuff more like that than stuff that is imagination based, like sci-fi. I love watching sci-fi movies,
Yeah, me too.
but reading the stuff, I get lost in the description. I forget what I'm reading about.
It's hard
Yeah.
to read this stuff.
Right.
If you listen to
Which is great and beautiful for avid readers like you, like Mike and his brother.
Well, yeah.
But I get lost. I get the description. I'm like, okay, what the fuck were we talking about now?
Yeah. I finally have seen that too. Like Mike, for anybody who pays attention, Mike and I are part of a sci-fi fantasy book club, and it like covers everything, movies and whatever. But we read our first book, and I was like, I don't like it. The book is awesome, and I had it read to me because I couldn't read it, and I can't follow the stuff. I think you guys busted me once when I was reading it while driving here.
Yep. Yeah, I tried to read that too. I have comprehension issues. That was a class I took at COD, reading comprehension, and it
Really?
helped. Yep.
Because that's how I feel too. Now, because I've given you some comic books to read, graphic novels and such. Mm-hmm. Are those better?
I think so.
Cause,
Definitely.
I think they're better. But
Yeah, and not even for the visual aspect. I think it's just
the pacing is very easy to
the
follow.
pacing and the panels. Yeah, it helps for sure.
You were about to say something?
Well, now I've lost my train of thought as to what.
It happens a lot.
Good. That saves us from having to decipher it.
Yeah? Couldn't have been important.
Yeah.
Probably something about the book. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you guys do have a penchant for reading. What I've always been impressed with those because your ability to recall stuff is what is impressive / annoying.
Nothing important, but
Yeah, but I gotta think that in my head I'm like, you guys can read something once and then recall it where it needs to be. But you guys have read these books multiple times.
A lot
Stuff
of them.
like Lord of the Rings, for instance.
Yeah, that has multiple read-throughs.
I don't understand how like I can understand it logically because I'll rewatch a movie forever.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's comforting once you know it, like it becomes comforting, the nostalgia of knowing it already. I don't have to see if I like this. But it's a different like set of time and commitment to read. I couldn't imagine rereading something.
So for me, the enjoyment of rereading comes into like I know the story, but I can't recall every exact thing that happens in the book every time. So going through a book for a second time, a lot of times I come across like scenes in the book that's like, I don't remember this. This is like a brand new scene for me. This is something new in something I know I already enjoy. So
Yeah, that's pretty
this
awesome.
can only be good.
Yeah.
But that also means like I already know what's coming, so there's no enjoyment as to that part, as to there's no surprise ending anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know the plot twist.
And then you spend the time as you're reading it knowing what it's building to, being like, what if they did this instead?
Mm-hmm.
Or talking to other dickheads like me and nitpicking and being like, why do they just do this the whole time?
Oh no, I have those thoughts while I'm reading, and somehow my brain will read a paragraph and halfway through the paragraph trail off on its own and be like, but why aren't they trying to do this, or why is the motivation here? And all of a sudden I'm at the end of the paragraph like, I read every single one of those words,
Yeah.
and I have no idea what I just read.
Yeah, I run into that in every paragraph. That's why I don't like reading. That's why I had a hard time with guards, because I've never heard it said out before, but that's exactly what happens when I read it. I get caught up on what's being said, and I'm following this, but I'm still reading this. But and then I'm like,
Nobody can see what you're doing with your hands.
yeah. Next time you have to tune in live to catch what I'm doing with my hands. Good luck finding the live feed.
Be in the studio audience.
Now that also brings up another interesting point of you guys' relationship dynamic, because you're not necessarily, before you met Mike, it's not like you were into D&D or Lord of the
I
Rings.
didn't know what it was.
Exactly, or any of this stuff, this quote-unquote nerd stuff that comes with
Star Wars was the extent of my nerd stuff because I loved those movies.
Yeah, which, I mean, especially back then, I feel like those were, when you're talking...
Well, I had a sci-fi nerd for a father.
Yeah.
I have a brother who came up with these movies.
Yeah.
So,
That's not me. Our
kind of
older brother,
inherited.
literally, who's older, got to see these in the cinema.
Yeah.
Because I was just born when the last one came out.
I wasn't even thought of yet.
Nope.
Yeah.
But I did see the prequels in the cinema. And the last trilogy.
Oh, yeah, same.
So what's that like, though, then to immerse yourself in that? And do you consider yourself immersed in it? I know we take the piss and talk shit, but, like, you gotta enjoy it to an extent, or you wouldn't do
I do,
it
yeah.
every weekend.
I do enjoy it to an extent. It's not something I want to do all the time, and there's times because he's in different online D&D groups.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I feel neglected.
Right.
Because it's like, well, hey, are you going to spend any time with me? Because this is all you're doing, and it seems to be the only thing you're interested in.
Yeah.
But in person playing it is way different than online.
Yeah, and I know, like, for me, I try to bring in a lot of visuals.
That helps.
Because that helps
for
me a lot
yeah.
also. Not for nothing, too. I feel like, I don't know if you noticed this on your end, Mike, but I always try to find things that will bridge any gaps. Like, for instance, like, you love Monopoly, and I literally found a board game called The Doom that came to Atlantic City, which is basically reverse Monopoly. Mm-hmm. So it's the same mechanics as Monopoly, but instead of buying a property, you play an Ancient One monster destroying property. But it's just, otherwise it's the same game. It's just as fun.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that, or like finding like lighter games, I feel like are easier to bridge the gap. Also,
Yeah.
I know we play a lot of like Mike and I like big heavy stuff, and Dan to an extent also.
Oh, I love Firefly,
Yeah.
and I love Zombicide. I don't love how long it takes to set up and take down, though.
That's true. Well, not for nothing though. I'm also incredibly particular, and my stuff is so organized and annoying, and I feel like that's rubbed off, especially now that you have a big game like that.
Yeah, Firefly is a lot, and it needs to stay organized because it's 15 decks of cards.
Oh, yeah, at least 15 decks of cards. Plus, what's the game at? 4 by 6?
So
4 foot by 6 foot just for the game mat.
Yeah, we had to make a specialized table for it.
Yeah, that takes up most of this house.
Yeah.
But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Right.
But that's, if you listen to the show.
Anyway, I've
that's how it
immersed
goes.
myself in the things that he likes because he likes them and he's comfortable
Sure.
with them. And he's incredibly patient in explaining how to do and what to do with those games or
you find it
things
easy
like that.
because because I'm hoping this is what comes across when I talk about like wrestling or stuff also, that he's so passionate about it, it's easy to get excited
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, all right, well,
And I
I'm
don't
still
feel
going to make
like
fun of him, but this is pretty awesome.
I don't feel like I have anything when it comes to like hobbies like that I'm very passionate about.
So my next question is going to be, do you feel that he's reciprocal as far as like when you do want to do something or bring something up where he's like, yeah, awesome, let's do that.
Kinda.
Like, I know you're always trying to get us to watch Grease.
I'm never trying to get you to watch Grease.
Every
actually.
single
You're occasionally trying to get us to watch Grease.
If somebody was like, we should watch Grease, you'd be like, well, duh.
Yeah.
When this is over, do you want to watch Grease?
There's never a time I don't want to not watch Grease.
It's just not a good movie.
Okay, but you two dickheads quote it more than I do.
Yeah,
It's all right.
that's true.
So now what?
All right. To be
I've had a
fair,
weird obsession with Grease my entire life.
Where do you
I
think that
quoted-
comes from?
I have no idea. My parents letting me watch it when I was 3 years old.
Just enjoying it?
Musicals. I love musicals.
You know what I watched the other day?
Music is my passion. That's
Yeah,
what
music is
I
awesome.
love. That's what I get excited about.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm a musical person, but I love the when music tells a story, or punches you in the gut, or makes you feel something.
Yeah.
Music expresses what
Grease
we don't know
definitely makes
how.
me want to punch somebody in the gut. It is, from that standpoint, I think it's, especially as a child, I feel like it's fun. I think the time period's fun.
Whew, Grease has not aged well.
No,
Definitely
not. At all.
not.
But when you watch it as a kid and you don't know any better, you're
Yeah.
like, I like this time period.
The 80s were a wild time, so
Listening-
watching Grease from the 70s was totally normal.
Also, anytime you can hear John Travolta be like, yeah, right, it's always a good time. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So, but you guys date for a while. Where's the point, Mike, where you're like, this is going to be a thing now. I should probably marry this girl, I guess.
How long did that take?
Oh, it took a while. And it wasn't so much of like, oh, I finally realized this is
No.
a thing and now we should get married.
Yeah.
It was one of those, we got a good thing going. Is marriage really going to make any difference?
Right.
I mean, at this point in our lives, it's not going to change anything.
It wasn't always on the table.
Yeah. Like, just as an option, you're just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're living at Dad's.
Mike's
At some point, you move in permanently.
Yes, but
Yes, but.
he moved in out there because Dad was in a relationship that we thought was serious.
Oh,
and
that's
he
right.
moved to
He
Rockford.
moved to Rockford and-
So we
yeah.
were taking over the house.
Right.
That was very short-lived, so our idea of doing that was kind of shattered.
Yeah, that's
Then
right. But you
when-
guys stayed there.
For a
still,
while, but then his true colors came back out. And
Which are bad colors.
oh god, yeah.
That's a whole different episode. Like, 'cause I don't want to get into a bunch of shitty stuff. We know it exists. We'll talk about it at some point.
Yeah.
But I'd rather keep it going on this high note.
You're right. So I see how awful it is. He sees how awful it is. And I'm like, we need to ask your mom if we can move in with her.
Yeah.
Because we weren't financially in a spot to just get our own house. He was delivering pizzas. I was working at a hair salon and a dental office.
Yeah.
It wasn't, at that point in our early 20s, it's like, I don't want a mortgage.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of our 20s just kind of fucking around and doing what we wanted when we wanted, how
That's
we
what
wanted.
they're for.
That's how I feel, yes.
Yeah.
Not everybody feels that way, but whatever.
Kudos to everybody who builds their lives, but like also kudos to everybody who's like, fuck it.
Well, I didn't have parents that were handing me money to do things. I didn't have any kind of inheritance. I didn't have a rich uncle or, anything like that.
Yeah.
So we had to do it all ourselves. So anyway, long story short, we ended up having to move back in with his parents.
Before that, though, how is the dynamic of having to see something that shitty, like, and live through, like, seeing firsthand the abusiveness of our father as an outsider, for starters, but then also as it pertains to your girlfriend?
Oh.
Like, because at the end of the day, your hands are kind of tied. But if I have to, I can punch this old man in the mouth.
Oh, the thought crossed the mind quite a few times of like...
He's very top heavy. He'll go down.
He always sounds real tough.
Yeah.
I bet I kick him in the shins, he tips right over.
I told you, he's very top heavy.
But, weird perspective on it because it was that, he liked me for some reason because... Yeah. Oh, wait, this schmuck like sci-fi stuff and comedy and all the stuff I like too.
If you laugh at his jokes, he likes you.
Also, he was always bringing pizza.
Mm-hmm. I love pizza.
Me too. That's tomorrow. We'll get there.
No, now people are going to know it's pre-recorded.
It's fine. Pretty sure they know.
Every Saturday is pizza day.
So, yeah, I got the, he likes me and is joking with me to 2 minutes later, he's screaming at Sara for nothing at all.
The man is 100% bipolar. Like, obviously never diagnosed, but textbook bipolar.
Mm-hmm. And it threw me off for quite a while, and it was like, you know, I'm not a violent person.
Right.
I don't want to ever have to, like, get up in his face or anything.
Was there ever a point where you had to check him verbally or physically?
I never really had to do anything physical or get up in his face or loud or aggressive. But there were...
To be fair, you were dating my sister who is loud and aggressive.
Yes. Who would yell right back at him and then, storm out of the room, and it's like, all right, well, I'm going to go out in the garage and have a cigarette with her.
Yeah.
Well, when you're raised a certain way, you can't be yelled at and disciplined for acting that way.
No, I agree completely. You can't create something and then be mad that it came out this way.
Right.
But I'd, quick comment of like, hey, it was unnecessary. And never really waited for a response or waited to see his reaction to it of like just, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's whenever I would talk to him, I always felt like he was enamored by me in general. The way I would talk to him and kind of break down his actions and stuff, and you could see those moments where he's like, "Oh man, you're totally right. What am I doing? This is stupid." But I don't think he could help himself with everything that came pouring in at once. He just didn't have the tools to deal with that from whatever he had been through in his life. Like, which is why I don't hold a lot of resentment. I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. And we came out as we came out, right?
We came out fine.
Yeah, but it's got to be stressful as shit just from your perspective on the outside, to having to see them like screaming at each other and bumping heads.
Oh yeah, he didn't come from a house like that at all.
Right, and that's kind of the point. Is like the Walshes are very different now. What's it like growing up or even you guys end up moving there? The dynamic there has got to be so different. Man, every episode I feel like I babysit one word, and this episode is dynamic. Every 5 seconds, like, dynamic.
Today's word is...
Make it like, was that Pee-wee's Playhouse? Every time they say the word, ah!
Yeah.
But how did you guys deal with stuff in a quote-unquote normal house that you grew up with if you didn't have fighting and yelling and constant like punching.
Yeah, punching, psychological abuse, all that good shit.
Because not for nothing, I'm sure everybody has their own traumas and BS, right? And I'm 100% positive you do. It just looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that look like then for you versus kind of like what you've seen that we've been through?
Best way I can put it would be like when you step out of line is probably the best example of difference of basically a lot of parental control went to my mom.
Yeah.
And she was in charge of raising the kids.
Right.
So when we stepped out of lines, it was, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. You can't be doing that. Here's why. Do it again and I'll hit you with the spoon.
Yeah. You gotta get hit with a wooden spoon?
I think Dan did once, and my mom grabbed the spoon and like basically had it ready for me once, and I was like, nope, I don't want to get hit with that. So we're just gonna not do that.
Yeah, it sucks getting hit with a wooden spoon. Do you ever feel?
That sounds like it was more when you guys were out of line.
Yeah.
Not because you're, a mentally unstable parent
that's
just flying off the handle.
Well, not for nothing. Like I don't know if you ever felt in your life, Mike, like you were, because I don't think it didn't hit us either at the time when it's happening. You don't realize you're a victim because it's whatever is happening is quote unquote normal. So you don't realize
everybody's normal looks so different.
Right, you don't realize that you're being like punished for nothing or you're being traumatized for no reason until you've been able to put some time and see another perspective and be like, oh, you guys actually love each other. It's kind of weird. I don't understand. Mm-hmm. As opposed to somebody tells you they love you and then like kicks you in the face.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot of punishment when we were young.
Yeah, I remember the story earlier about the drugs at 14 and the coming in at 6 a.m. and just seeing your mom and be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, to be... Well, at that point, I was 18.
Yeah,
and
that's true. Yeah, fair enough.
But all the other stuff, they have to catch you doing something to get in trouble.
Oh, speaking of catching doing something, you know what we missed? Tell me what happened in school when you got in trouble.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this for like the first 5 years we were together.
So, Oswego High School had morning announcements on what they called TV4.
That's right.
Turns out part of that was done at our school, and like they would...
Were you part of like the AV club?
No.
Or were you just supposed to be on it?
No.
Great.
Nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. So there were a couple students who were, I guess it would be AV club. I don't know. I never really asked them about it.
Yeah.
But they did TV4.
Right.
Well, every morning when we say the Pledge of Allegiance in school, they would basically play a videotape of the flag waving.
And you made him a tape of something else waving.
I didn't make him a tape of anything.
You brought him a tape of something else.
I gave him a tape of something else. So, if I remember correctly, this was years ago.
Yeah.
They
didn't know about this, though. Like, were you alone in this, or were you all in on it?
Okay, to be fair, I am taking way more credit than I should ever be given, but that's because I'm one of the people who took the fall for it. So,
Right.
you know what? I'm taking some credit.
Fair enough.
Because we were all sitting around the lunch table, and I don't remember who came up with the idea. I don't remember how the plan came to be, but one of the kids in the AV club was like, hey, we're going to tape over the American flag with pornography. And then we're going to put that on the TV.
Yeah. High schools hate pornography.
They're not a fan.
But you made it happen. You guys ended up facilitating that.
Yes.
So TV4.
Yes.
And all of a sudden...
I acquired an adult video from, I believe, my older brother.
Yeah. Dan, goddamn it again.
Don't talk to him like he listens.
That's true.
And didn't hear anything for a couple weeks. And then one day,
Wow.
I saw him in the morning. He's like, it's happening today. It's happening today. As soon as they start the Pledge of Allegiance, it cuts over to that video. The whole school is in a friggin' uproar.
Yeah, because everything stops for TV4.
Like, the whole school stops. Everyone,
and
morning
it's
announcements.
only like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's what you're focused on for that 10 minutes.
Yep, the
in
entire
morning.
school.
I still don't understand. Like, even that's more story than I've heard of it in the past. How does it fall on you then?
So, someone in the AV room or something knew something, said it had to be someone. Oh, it was him. He was at the lunch table.
Yeah.
It was him.
And
He
you
actually
bring the
did it.
tape.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with it getting on TV.
Nope.
Yeah.
But the fact that
He was the one with the cooler brother who could supply.
Yeah.
The
But it also sounds like you're the guy who paid attention to Goodfellas when they're like, never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's all they had to do was keep their mouth shut. And they had nothing. All anyone had to do was be like, I don't know.
Right.
We know you did it. Nope.
Or did I?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
But nope, someone squealed, started talking. Oh, I don't want to get in trouble, even though I had nothing to do with it. It was him. Well, Mike gave him the tape on school property, so you're suspended for a day.
You got 1 day suspension for that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Like, what a nothing punishment. No, you get a free day off.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. Were your parents pissed? Or did they at least feel like they wanted to be? Or were they
So-
like, this is funny?
They tried to be mad about it, but we're laughing. So we all were just like, yeah, guess go to school Wednesday.
Yeah. Now, were you dating him at that time? When that happened?
No,
Okay, so
because I think I was a junior. Only.
So
that happened early.
Everyone
in
Yeah.
high school.
everyone thought it was the senior prank.
It was
Nope,
not.
it was a couple sophomore kids.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Did you feel that throughout your whole career in high school? Like, did that stay with you as you're that guy?
A little bit, and mostly because later in that day when there was still chaos and trying to figure out what's going on, I saw my cousin Pat in the halls, and he's like, "Did you see what happened? That was crazy." It's like, haha, yes, excellent.
That's pretty amazing.
But yeah, later on, I heard like years after I had graduated, kids still knew about it. Kids at other schools knew about it. It's like, wait a minute, it was barely anything.
Yeah. It's funny how kind of like things get mythologized like that and become bigger than what they were. Someday they'll tell their kids about it. It'll keep going forever. But again, we've tangented off. You're saying that marriage might not have even been a thing. We're just like, this is working. Like, why?
Yeah, it
Why
wasn't,
rock the boat in any way?
to me, it wasn't like, oh, since the age of 8, I've wanted to marry a lass and
Yeah.
put on
Yeah,
the-
same. I
Right.
wasn't that little girl who was like, "Oh, I have to get married at this age. I have to do this, and I
Yeah.
have to have this and this at my wedding." It was just
Also,
like,
you guys
whatever.
aren't big pageantry people.
No, yeah, we're
And you're not like, I don't feel like there was ever a time where you're like, we definitely want to start a family.
no.
It's kind of like, oh, let's just, let's see what happens. But what changed then as time went on?
I'm not sure really.
Well, it's up to Mike. Mike proposed at some point.
Well, so as we got older, he said when he had a stable job with a steady income,
Yeah.
he would propose. He would get me a ring, whatever it may be. And
When
he
did
did.
you start? So you delivered pizzas for a long time, and you were working at the salon and the dental office, and then just the salon. When did you start? Because as of now, you've been at a locksmith for a long time.
Just over 10 years now.
Almost 11.
But you guys have been married for how many years?
Almost 10. Literally, his first paycheck, he bought me a ring and proposed.
Is that true?
Yeah.
There was no stability with delivering pizzas at Genoa's. Also,
for sure, yeah.
Genoa's doesn't exist anymore. It went tits up.
I believe there's still one in Aurora.
No, Sugar Grove.
Sugar Grove.
But
go.
yeah,
The one in Oswego, I went into work on a Saturday night, and there was no ovens, the doors were locked, everything was gone.
I remember
No one
that.
told Mike.
there was no warning.
I 100% remember, like, legitimately you being like, I gotta go to work. And then being like, there's no restaurant in there.
That was a confusing day.
Yeah, if that doesn't sum up how Buddy run that place in general, like, ugh.
Yeah.
But, so, how did you come about this locksmith position?
There was a help wanted sign on 34.
And you were like, I'm helping.
Literally.
That's pretty great. Just kind of fell into it. And I feel like you've fallen in love with it too. Like, it's a cool job.
It's a lot of times it's something different every day.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting
Where you get
at
to actually use your brain, you feel like you're part of something and, like, contributing and
You
stuff
get
like
to
that.
tinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Arts and
problem
artifice.
solving. It's not sitting at a desk 8 hours a day over and over again. I think I would go crazy doing that.
Yeah, you've never really had a job like that, have you? I'll say you wash the dishes, you worked delivering pizzas, and then locksmith. Is it what do you have? Oh, and the paintball.
And I worked at a place called Space Station Playland.
Oh,
I was a ride operator.
That's also exciting. That's cool though. So literally your first quote unquote adult paycheck, we'll say, which is, I don't like saying that, but like just for the sake of the story, you literally were like, I guess I'll buy an engagement ring.
Yeah, I literally told her to pick one out online.
Yeah, it was something we had done together.
How exciting.
It wasn't
Well-
a surprise at all. It was, what one do you want? Because if I get you one, you're probably not going to like it.
Yeah, which personally I think is smart. Like, I understand that it might take away something, because I feel like there's two options, right? This is something we talk about, and then it becomes a surprise at some point because we've talked about it. So you might expect something whenever.
It could have been a surprise if he didn't use my account to order it.
But I feel like the other
Got the
option
quick
is
shipping.
to surprise them with the thing, but not have the thing, and then be like, the surprise also is you get to pick it out, so it's something you like, and the surprise was just me saying words right now. So I feel like it's, whatever the person likes. But so you order something on her, was it off Amazon? You order it off of her Amazon account, so she gets the email that says, "Hey, your wedding ring's on the way." Smart, classy.
Well, I don't like big and flashy, so that's why
Yeah.
I wanted to pick something out. And
But also,
I hate the pushy salespeople like that.
yeah, but also even I sold jewelry for years. Like, I was a diamond consultant
Yeah.
and a precious stone consultant at a jewelry store. So like, they teach you to be a jagoff. But not for nothing. Like, knowing it's on its way and it's ordered, and like being a part of that process is one thing. But then building the proposal is quite another thing.
Well, when you know your date anniversary is coming up.
Yeah, well, that's only if you aren't very creative. Think big picture. But what did you do for a proposal?
So I am incredibly shy and awkward in big public settings. So
Sure. Now, to combat that, though, would you disagree with the fact that you are, though, incredibly romantic in your version of that, and a very deep feeling person?
I try to be.
Yeah.
But so we were living at my parents' at the time, and I I basically told them, hey, I'm going to propose to Sarah. I'm going to make her a nice dinner. Is there any way you guys can fuck off out of your own house for the night?
Yeah, I've asked people to fuck off their own house before too, and it feels so weird. To be like, it'd be really cool if you just went away and for like 3 to 6 hours.
So I made her a nice meal and everything. I don't even remember what I
Steak
cooked.
and lobster. One of my favorites still.
It's steak and lobster.
And
No, we don't live on the East Coast.
we had been together for so long, it wasn't like it was a big surprise or anything.
When did you guys get engaged?
He proposed on our 10-year date anniversary.
So you guys had been dating for 10 years.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I felt the odds were pretty good she was going to say yes.
He was still incredibly nervous.
Yeah.
It's a big
Like,
deal.
so
I feel like
nervous.
it would
whole
bother me
time.
a lot too.
I had the idea of like, oh, I'll do it like when I serve the food. Well, that didn't happen. I kind of chickened out right in the moment there. So maybe like halfway through, nope. Okay, right at the end of dinner, nope. A few minutes later.
I like the idea that eventually she's like, "Did you want to ask me something?"
I'm that person, yeah, for sure.
It probably got real close to that.
So you've been dating for 10 years, and then you guys get engaged. And you were only engaged for what, a year?
Just under, yeah.
And
We
then
got
you've been
engaged
married
in
now
November.
for 2 years, or 10 years.
Almost 10 years, yeah.
Jesus Christ. So how long have you guys been together now, total?
In November, we will be together for 21 years. In October is our 10th wedding anniversary.
That's stupid.
So we'll see if we make it to those.
Yeah. Remember, you guys remember when I had Joe and Kelly on too? They've been together for a stupid amount of time.
Oh, yeah,
also.
longer. Uh-huh.
You guys should have like an arm wrestling match.
What?
Or like some sort of fight. The
Why?
loser has to get divorced.
Oh, no. Well, we used to joke, like, okay, we'll date for 10 years. We'll be married for 10 years. We'll get divorced for 10 years. We'll restart dating for 10 years. And, I mean, we're coming up on 10 years marriage.
Who the fuck's
so...
going to live that long?
I don't know.
None of us.
Well,
Robots.
when we got
That's
together
true.
when we were 17 years old, you could.
17. Jesus.
Yeah.
So you guys get married. Tell me about the wedding.
You were there.
I know. That's true.
You were in it.
Should I tell them about the wedding?
If you want to. I mean, everybody has a different perspective of any kind of social gathering that they're at.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather hear your guys' perspective as kind of being in the shitstorm and the focus of it.
What shitstorm?
It's still a stressful day. Like,
Oh, I had so much fun planning my wedding.
yeah, planning
Because
the
I'm
wedding.
such a snob and a cheapskate that I did all my own floral arrangements, and my brother did all of the music, so I didn't have to hire a
that
DJ.
was this brother.
And I'm a music snob, so I didn't want your typical wedding
That's
music.
true. We 100% made a playlist.
Yeah.
Every single song was handpicked.
Yep.
Everything for dinner was handpicked.
Yep.
Dances and everything was all done. I literally built it on my iPod. In fact, when I was in the wedding up there, I had to
I thought you made Jason do it.
yeah, I had to crash course him real quick. Like, hey man, play this when this happens. Yeah. Luckily, he's so smart.
Well,
he could
good,
press
yeah.
play on a little circle.
Well, I knew I wanted to walk down the aisle to Canon.
Yeah, and
Which
we found
is-
an awesome version of.
Well, it's
Canon.
widely known, I think, as like a Christmas song.
Canon.
Yeah, Christmas Canon
I
specifically,
feel like
I
it's-
guess.
Well, that's different though. I feel like it's stereotypically used for weddings.
Whatever. I found like a really cool reggae-ish, ska-ish
Yeah,
version.
Zox is the name of the
and
band.
that is what as soon as I heard that song, I'm like, this is what I'm walking down the aisle to.
Yeah, and man, it's such a cool cover. of
Love
too.
it. Yeah.
Canon in general is a beautiful composition.
So I did not wear a traditional wedding dress. I wanted to wear black because I tried on a few white wedding dresses and I didn't like them. I didn't like how
I
they
heard
looked.
earlier about car stuff, so you probably couldn't wear a white wedding dress if you wanted to.
I mean, you still can, but
But God gets mad.
yeah.
Well, if that mattered to me, that would be a different story. But anyway, I wore black because I fell in love with the dress and I was channeling Stevie Nicks, who I love.
Yeah.
And he freaked when I came home and told him, you're not supposed to see the bride in the dress before. I told him.
you wear the dress home?
No, I'm like, I got a black dress, and I
wear
wanted to
that.
do like the black cage veil and everything. He freaked. He's like, it's gonna look like a funeral.
Isn't it though, kind of?
So who usually pays for their daughter's wedding dress?
Well, who usually pays for the wedding?
True, the bride's father.
That's traditionally, which I feel like we've grown out of a lot.
True.
Now it's just like, who can afford it?
Oh, right. So he ended up going with me to and pay for my dress and saw it then, and he was calmed down.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a funeral anymore.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's still a cool dress.
And then his tux ended up being more expensive than my dress also.
To be fair, that's a sick tux.
It was,
And he got to
yes.
keep it, right? Because
Yes.
us assholes all bought one.
Yeah.
Or rented one.
Right.
You were able to keep yours. Which I love that tux.
Yeah. So, I did a lot of the planning by myself because, like I said, a lot of my friends, most of my friends at that point had been married and or had kids, so they were busy. Not that I didn't feel like I could ask them, but I'm also a control freak.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take care of all of my own stuff as I could.
And you know who was there helping, that worked there, that was taking care of us? Tanya's brother.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He did. Yep, he was
That's right.
working there that night.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that was the night of the wedding.
Yeah, I forget the lady's name that ran it to. But
Andrea, she
was
did
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah, she was really cool.
She was so mellow about everything. She's like, oh, we got a little delayed getting everyone's hair done. She's like, we were supposed to start an hour ago. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We're not starting till my mother-in-law's here, and she's still getting her hair done.
Yeah.
So we'll get there.
That's right. Also, wasn't there something weird? Like, didn't both moms show up in the same dress on
They
accident?
did. I knew that ahead of time.
Oh, you
they
did know that.
They knew that ahead of time.
But they didn't. When they bought them, they had no idea.
Nope.
I had no idea.
My
They
mom went-
magically picked the same
Yes.
dress in two different places.
Yes.
And then showed up like.
Mom bought hers somewhere up north, and Mike's mom bought hers, I don't know, probably in Aurora or Naperville or something.
Yeah.
Exact same dress. And I told them, I'm like, if either of you feel like you need to wear a different one, go for it.
I feel like they were like, this is kind of cool.
But I think it would be fantastic if you both wore the same dress.
Yeah.
And it was great, yeah.
Would have been cool if then the dads wore the same outfit. But I know that our dad missed the boat on what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he was in a completely different suit, tux, whatever he was wearing, because he didn't want to go to the same place where you guys went and just had to do his own fucking thing, so whatever.
Yeah. Well, some people suck. What are you going to do?
Yeah, he's dead now. It's fine.
I was hoping we'd make it through the whole episode without her saying that.
Oh, sorry.
But I was like, I know it's coming.
It's fine.
I know it's building.
Trying to keep it under a
Before
handful.
that, before he died, him and my mother did get to give me away to my best friend. So I guess
Yeah.
that's good enough.
Did we all walk down the aisle with music? Or was it just the song?
I had Zach's. Oh, yeah, you guys did Lindsey Sterling.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. Couldn't tell you what song, but yes, Lindsey
Shadows.
Sterling. Yes.
Who remembers if I walked down the aisle or was I already down there?
I feel like at some point you walked down there. It might have been before everybody got there.
Yeah.
What did you guys do after your wedding then? Like, because it was, like you said, it felt like a homegrown wedding. Which
Even though it was at a
point.
golf course. But
And also, not for nothing, like, even trying to cut costs, it was still ended up being expensive.
yes, it was.
Like, doing as much as you can yourself and cutting as much
but
costs
not
as
like your typical, the average wedding costs $35,000.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, even when you're budget conscious and busting your ass,
Yeah.
you can still easily end up spending, what, 5-10 grand?
Oh, it was over 10 grand.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moral
Oh, yeah.
of the story is, if you're thinking about getting married, elope.
We wanted
Yeah.
to, but because we'd been together so long and to appease family, that we had a wedding.
Also, somebody stepped on cupcakes that day.
I did that.
That was... I did that.
Cupcakes were
No,
so
my
good.
aunt was so sweet. She made
Yeah.
a box for us
Yeah.
to make sure we got some or to have some after or whatever. And
We had
she put it by
Jill,
my chair.
I think it's Area 51 cupcakes now.
Yeah.
But before she had her old franchise before they switched over, I'm sure they're still making unbelievable cupcakes.
Oh, yeah.
She did the wedding, and they were so good.
They were.
It was a whole
then you
bunch of mini cupcakes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
cry
So
when
good.
people ruin cakes. I can't believe you stepped on them.
Oh, she put the box behind my chair and I didn't realize it and I stepped right in it.
Yeah.
But I also know 2 people that ended up eating them out of
Who
the
would
box
eat
still.
cupcakes that somebody stepped in? You guys are both looking at me weird.
Yeah, because it was you and Danny T.
Yeah. Love that little man.
Yes, yes. One of a kind for sure.
So after the wedding, then, did you guys stay at was there a hotel?
Yeah, we stayed at the.
Wait, we went to the bar afterwards.
we
I
went to
think.
Scoreboards
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. Scoreboards.
and American through the parking lot was right there. That's where we stayed.
Yeah. Did you guys go on your honeymoon then proper after that?
Mm-hmm.
Which was just to Florida?
Yeah.
Yep.
Gross.
Yeah.
You drove to Florida?
Yeah.
How many times have you dickheads driven to Florida?
Together, at least 4. Him and his family have done it their whole lives.
Really?
His whole life. Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. I enjoy a road trip.
I like a road trip too, but who wants to go to Florida?
You just went to Florida with us.
I know. Also, at this point, I'm starting to see the appeal of Florida.
Yeah,
This
and
is
you
dangerous.
loved it.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I love the rich parts of
You
Florida.
yeah, you love St. Augustine.
Yeah, yeah. I need to live there, I think.
You better find yourself a sugar mama.
Maybe just, I can't find somebody that just likes me in general. Sugar mama's, I think, out of the picture. So after that, then you guys are married now, still living at the Walshes.
Uh-huh.
When do we get here?
Briefly. Oh, so we get married in October of 2014. In March of 2015, we moved into a condo in Oswego.
That's right. You guys lived in.
We lived there for a couple of years, and paying rent is dumb. I don't recommend it to anyone.
I counted that off. For paying a mortgage is dumb.
Just
After
don't pay people.
Yeah, there you
after
go.
we lived there for a couple of years, we moved back in with his parents and saved for a house.
Yeah.
And that brings us to here.
I bought my house
Yeah, you bought your house
out of spite.
out of spite.
Yeah, I bought my house out of spite to show you guys how easy it is to buy a house. And then you guys are like, we should buy a house.
I don't know if out of spite is the right word, but yes,
It is.
seeing how easy
I know
you could
I'm
do it,
me,
I'm like, I could
so I
do
know.
that.
Yeah.
So we did. We had a little bit of a down payment, and we moved in here during the worst year of our lives.
Is that true?
Yes,
Why was it the worst year of your life?
because it was 2018.
I remember that year.
Yep.
That
It wasn't a great year.
No,
That was yeah.
it started at the end of 2017 and
Yeah.
kept getting worse.
It's a silly year.
Yeah.
As just at least for me personally, it was very. I mean, obviously for everybody, but yeah, it was. Our dad died in December of 17, and then our grandma died, and then Dan's girlfriend died. My girlfriend died.
Oh, and there was so much in between
Yeah,
all of that.
my
too.
friend Rob died also. My boss committed suicide. Like a ton of. It was all in such a short amount
his
of time. It's crazy.
friend's dad was murdered.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It was insane.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming. Like, in a lot of ways, I still feel like we haven't recovered from that, even though, like, it's at this point, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, like, every time you think about it, you're like, I'm not ready to deal with that. That's too much still.
I think we've all dealt with it in our way.
Yeah, but now you guys have lived here for a long time. Also, shout-outs to Amy, getting us
Oh,
both
of course,
set
yeah.
up in our house.
Absolutely.
Also, double shout-outs to Chris, doing the money stuff. I'm also a big
Oh,
fan of Chris.
he was so patient with us because it was such a rough summer. We had
Yeah.
to cancel a few times.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
But then after all of it, when I explained everything that happened, he's just like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Yeah." So
Yeah.
this buying our house that year was kind of the only joy we had that whole year.
Yeah, and also like once you bought the house and kind of moved in, do you feel like you had that moment of being able to exhale and not have to worry, like the weight's off your shoulders as far as living at home, paying silly rent and stuff like that? You're like, finally ours.
I don't know if it was the first night or not, because even when we left the place from signing the papers with Amy and our lawyer,
Yeah,
we just both kind of looked at each other like, okay, we're still waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's got to at some point, right?
That's just a trauma response.
Right, exactly. But we had the car packed up when we came right from there.
Yeah.
The first night we lived here, I did lock us out though, accidentally. So good thing I'm married to a locksmith.
That's true. Didn't you almost burn the house down too?
Yeah, that was me.
He did that.
So,
I think I was all in the first
warning
year.
tip for everybody. Never ever put embers or coals in like a yard waste bag, even if it's rained on it and a few days old. Just don't put coals and that stuff in a yard waste bag.
I like that you essentially put hot embers in kindling and a paper bag.
They weren't hot. It had rained on them the day before.
Oh, yeah.
Still.
It should have been fine, but yeah.
Man, that's great. What a weird life you guys have had.
Sure.
Let's talk. Oh, you know what? We covered some of your hobbies and stuff. And we briefly mentioned that if you could go, in retrospect, you would have taken culinary classes. Because you have a love of, would you say culinary stuff in general or just baking?
Oh, I would specialize in baking. I love baking. It's my happy place.
Yeah, where did that show up for you?
I have no idea.
I feel like just one day in the last 6 years.
I don't know. Well, maybe it is. No, because I like to bake even before I had my own kitchen.
That's true. I guess it's probably just more
But
prevalent now.
I grew up baking with Mom. Always the Christmas cookies and stuff. And his mom has always done big Christmas cookie stuff.
Yeah,
They've gotten older,
cookies.
so now I've kind of taken over that. But I just enjoy it. I like trying new recipes and making new things and feeding the people that I love.
Yeah, because you cook also.
I'm no professional or anything, but
Yeah.
we've watched enough cooking shows
You
where
guys watch an uncomfortable amount of cooking shows.
yeah, but then you get great ideas on delicious food.
Yeah, but some
Yeah.
people watch like awful reality shows. I'd much rather watch cooking shows.
That's probably true. And also, like, there are a certain level of competition where it's, like, kind of interesting, as opposed to, like, dumb, forced stuff.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much camaraderie. I'm the dickhead who cries when I watch cooking competition shows.
Yeah.
Because they're so nice to each other. There's such camaraderie behind what they're doing, and they all get the stress that goes into it. Or the baking shows even. Like, everybody knows how heartbreaking it is when what you make doesn't turn out how you want it to. Or
Yeah.
at the last second, it falls apart. Or, something like that. I would be heartbroken.
Yeah, I would too. I compare it to, like, when you're watching a gymnast or an ice skater.
Yeah.
And they, like, flub and you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Also, I watch wrestling, so I get it.
Right. Yes.
Wrestling's very emotional.
It's all what you're invested in and
Yeah.
how you take what you're watching.
Yeah, that's true. I heard the cats.
Yeah, he's beating her up.
There's two of them. They work in
Those
pairs.
are our babies. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, what's the plan now? Like, you guys have kind of, we've already established you're boring and whatever. But, like,
This is going to be your worst episode, I promise.
but big picture, like, you guys have plans, or do you feel like you're at a point where it's like, this is what we've been working towards? Like it or not, this is what we're enjoying, just kind of coasting and vibing through on this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah, we're pretty much just enjoying where we're at, and when we want to go do something or come up with an idea, we try to make that happen.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole point of me going back to work.
Yeah.
Was I wanted a new car.
Right.
I wanted to be able to save a little bit, and then we wanted to travel.
Yeah. Right. 'Cause
We've
you
done-
spent a big chunk not working after once he started locksmithing.
I was a
and the
CNA.
salon was gone.
I was a CNA for a while, and then I
Yeah.
was a nanny for
That was killer though.
upwards of 10 years.
Being a
Yeah.
CNA, because you worked third shift,
The overnight.
Yep.
which is
That's
a
wreaked
huge adjustment.
havoc. Oh yeah, it was horrible. I felt like a zombie. No normalcy.
Yeah, I feel like I still haven't recovered from working for the factory when I had to get up at 2:30 in the morning and then work until 3, and like there's no way I could go to bed at 6.
Yeah, I can't force myself to go to bed at 8:00 in the morning while it's broad daylight out. I couldn't.
yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, That's what, because, yeah, like that's silly to even think about. So, oh, that's right. Then you were a nanny for our older brother's kids. Then
I was a nanny for other kids first, yeah.
that's right. But
And
when you were in the
then-
condo, you took care of Jason's kids.
Yes.
Our brother Jason's kids. That was a long time too. How long did you guys stay there?
In the condo?
Yeah,
2 years?
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you qualified to do that as a profession?
Nannying?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know what.
Because didn't you go back to
Qualifications
school at some point?
While I was watching the kids, I was working on my early childhood development degree, certification, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up finishing that either.
Is it something you think you would, or are you just like, what's the point of this?
I'm not sure I would go for that anymore. I think I would focus more on maybe being a substitute or a full-blown teacher.
Yeah.
Because I love what I do right now.
Yeah. And what are you doing now?
Well, right now I'm off for the summer.
Right. Like,
When I go back to work, I'm a para for junior high kids.
yeah.
And I love it. Special needs junior high kids.
Yeah. And you were saying earlier today, you were saying like, hopefully they'll put you back in ILP when you get in there.
Yes, which I love. That's more like highly autistic kids or kids with Down syndrome or epileptic kids or kids in wheelchairs. You know, nothing's off limits.
Yeah. Do you find it incredibly rewarding working with kids like that?
It is. So it has its incredibly frustrating parts,
Sure.
but that little
There's
tiny
these subtleties.
the little tiny look
Yeah.
or smile or hee giggle together makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said, it can be absolutely a pain in the ass, but there's a million little subtle moments every day where you're like, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, and as a para, I don't have the stress of doing the IEPs like the teachers have to or having the meetings with the parents. I get to an extent, have fun with them.
Yeah.
And make
yeah.
sure they're retaining what they need to retain and learning what they need to learn and being functioning members of society.
Not for nothing, you should be sitting in on the IEPs being written.
I haven't yet. I haven't been as para long enough. I haven't yet.
Yeah. I think it's, as they start tightening up what they're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
that's something that's going to be coming.
That's true.
Which I think is actually beneficial and good for the kids.
I also really like, not that I've worked with her side by side, but I really like our OT girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a such thing as like a para for OT people.
Is that overtime?
No, occupational therapy therapist.
Ah, yes.
But she's great. She has a hand in the IEPs and stuff, but she comes in like once a week and does what she needs to do with them, but I like what she does.
Yeah.
So maybe occupational therapy. I don't know. I do enjoy being a para right now. Maybe someday I would go to be an actual teacher.
Yeah. It's a tough call because I paired for a while also, and I liked that level until I hit a wall where I was like, okay,
Well, yeah.
this is the same wall that the teachers run into that I just don't like.
You're right.
So
That's why I'd like to be a teacher to try to implement more change and maybe a different way of doing things, but they don't have as much control and say as you'd like to think that they would.
I mean, there's amazing teachers out there, you know, Annie's one of those ones that walks the line so beautifully.
Yeah, she does.
You know, and
She's a unicorn.
She makes it look graceful and elegant or eloquent also.
Yeah.
You know, but she knows it's a pain in the ass, and she'll be the first one to tell you it's a pain in the ass.
Right.
But I think that the problem isn't, especially now that I've been inside, I don't think the problem is the schools. I think they're just reacting to what the system is giving them. Mm-hmm. I think that it's outside. It's the system. It's the towns. It's the parents. It's the whole society outside the public and what they're willing to work with the schools for.
Oh yeah.
And not giving them the tools they need, and then wondering why they're not getting the job done.
Yep.
And that I don't know how you fix without going door to door and being like, "Look, Dick, we need to talk about this. And I need you to listen."
Yeah,
But that's also a whole other thing.
for sure. Yeah.
But we can get college kids to volunteer to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like something they would love to do.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
That's about it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'd be remiss if I didn't explain that what it's like here every Sunday, which
Every
is
Sunday?
every Sunday here at this house.
What's every Sunday?
These assholes wake up at like 10.
So,
And they drink coffee for like 6 hours and do nothing.
we do that on Saturdays too.
Oh man.
I mean, if we have stuff to do, that's a different story. But we like to take our time on the weekends
Yeah.
and drink our coffee at our leisure.
They smoke like little chimneys. These are not role models, children.
Not at all.
Nobody said we were. Yeah, you know who my role model is?
Who?
Veda, my niece.
Yeah,
Everybody should want to strive to be like her.
yeah. That's also kudos for dating for looking for like most still typically girls look for a guy who's like their dad, and you're like, I need the opposite of everything.
No,
That
and
guy
it
is.
sounds so weird, but I married a guy like my brother. It sounds so weird.
I'm sitting right here.
I know, but and it's I'm sure it's gonna be taken the wrong way, but I married someone who gets it and can be my best friend. That's who better than your sibling is like that.
Eventually, yes, we were close enough in age where we fought while we were not even fought, but like
We annoyed the shit out of each other when we were little.
You were annoying. I was
No shit, I'm the little sister.
I was very much just in my own little world.
Much the same now.
Listen, she used to sit outside and just eat rocks, so don't listen to her.
That was as a toddler. You make it sound like when I was older.
I feel like if we put you in the yard
No.
right now, it's just a matter of time until you're like, I'm gonna put that in my
I
mouth.
mean, I
That
do
was
like
Thursday.
I do like to chew ice. I guess that's similar to rocks. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm secretly, at least I try to secretly, not secretly, but I secretly am a good guy. Mike's a better guy, and handsomer. Look at him. Can't grow a beard though. Look at him
I
trying.
don't
can.
like beards.
Look at him trying. He's doing it right now.
I don't like beards.
No man should have a beard.
Nope. Well, then I guess you're not
no,
a.
it gets itchy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I had to shave mine because my face was breaking out. It was so itchy.
Yeah. No itchy. Clean shaven.
But again, nobody wants to hear that. Sorry. But I think we're done. Should we call it?
Yeah, but don't crush the cat when you get up because he's right under your chair.
I'm a bit of a doofus.
Well, great. Now it's a to be continued because the world's gonna be like, did he kill the cat? I don't know.
Perfect.
I don't know what happened.
Tune in next week.